$3 billion in fines, 26 firms hit in a single day for $392 million. If you're in the financial services and your archiving is not locked down, you are truly playing with fire. This is what we're talking about today: how to archive, keeping communications safe and secure, and making sure that you are in compliance with Regulation S-P coming out on June 3rd, 2026, as well as all of the FTC, SEC, and also FINRA compliant as well, because there are certain things that you have to do to make sure that they don't come after you and you are consistently keeping your business safe. How are you doing? My name is Harrison Barron from Secure Wealth IT. We are an MSP. Think of Geek Squad on steroids, essentially. We help businesses, specifically financial firms, RIAs, broker-dealers, make sure that not only they're compliant, but their system runs the way that they want them to run, whether that's setting up new computers for employees, making sure that you can print, and also making sure that there's never a chance that you are out of compliance. And what I mean by that is, yes, I get it. A lot of the tools that you're using are through the cloud. However, the computer that you're using might not be secure. And even though the cloud is, when you get to it, the computer that you're on is probably or potentially causing you to walk into violations, fines, and even worse. So if you'd like to check us out, you can head over to securewealthit.com. And hey, if you want to use a cool finance calculator we built, you can check out our finance calculator here. You can use it. It is completely free. There's no strings attached, but if you're tired of using calculator.net, it's a pretty cool tool that we built, and you can show clients and all that good stuff. Basically, hey, this is what you have to save. There's a ton in here, mortgage payments and all of that, and you can calculate your mortgage based on the information that you decide to provide for it. So we have a lot to cover in today's video. I am covering, I think, 10 of the largest compliance softwares that allow you to archive correctly. And then I've broken them down, what I like, what I don't like, who's the leader in the industry, things that you should know about in here. So in this video, we are covering some of the big names. We have Smarsh, we have Global Relay, we have Proofpoint, Theta Lake, Bloomberg's Vault, we have MirrorWeb, we have Jatheon, we have SteelEye. We also have Veritas as well. And we're going to be going through all of these because all of them are very important in their own ways. I've broken down, given you graphs so you can see side by side who is the best at archiving and what's right for your firm. So let's dive into it here, and I'm going to just share my screen again here. So communication archiving platforms, this is the ultimate showdown. We are talking about really, unfortunately, kind of the big three, or better yet, big four, but mainly big three here, going through it. And this data is as accurate as possible. This is all from 2025, and the reason it's from 2025 and not early 2026 is because people are not publishing these every single day. They have to close out the year with publications. So why does this matter right now? There have been $3 billion in fines since 2018. There have been, for record keeping and off-channel communication violations, there have been $392 million in fines in August 2024 alone, which is the largest single sweep ever, with 26 firms penalized, WhatsApp messages and personal text violations, and $25.3 billion in SEC CFTC records, which is kind of insane. And it's $22 billion plus market by 2030 that they think they are going to be giving out fines for, from $9.4 billion today. So it's going to go up, and I hope that you are not a part of that, which that would be terrible. So let's talk about the big three, right? We have the Gartner Magic Quadrant leaders. Currently, if you don't know what the Gartner Magic Quadrant is, it's basically a company that goes through and takes all of the information and says, hey, who are the leaders in the space? And they try to do it for a variety of different spaces. And it's a pretty cool thing. I do know that there's a bit of an application process to get in, and then they rank you. But they are extremely unbiased. You have to pay for that application. There is no paying to be higher or lower. And sometimes they even pull in people that aren't there. So we have Smarsh, Global Relay, and Proofpoint. Smarsh is the furthest right for completeness of vision, right? Founded in 2001 in Portland, Oregon. We have Global Relay furthest up for ability to execute. And then we have Proofpoint, which is strong in both dimensions, 10-year consecutive leader in the Gartner Quadrant. So these are really the big three. Yes, I know I mentioned a bunch of other ones as well, but they basically run the show here. So a deep dive, Smarsh, and I've gone through demos of all of these. I've done a ton of research. This video took quite a while to build, but I did a deep dive. So key strengths is Broadness acquisition strategy. They have been grabbing and buying up smaller businesses and rolling them into their platform, but their pricing is kind of crazy. There is no visibility on pricing. I just got some of their pricing today. I didn't want to show it because they asked specifically for me not to show it. However, this is an accurate price, $20 to $40 per user per month, depending on the full compliance bundle. It could even go up from there. They also have some AI intelligence that they're working on building out. They have 45 plus Microsoft 365 connectors, which is obviously always going to be a good thing. And they're working on a new AI assistant. But the important thing is, and this is what we have to pay attention to, is they do cover SEC 17A-4, FINRA 4511-3110, CFTC, I'm not going to go through them all, but you get it, right? They are compliant across the board, and not all of these are for specifically the financial world, for example, HIPAA, but it's something to keep in mind. We also have global relay. So some of the key strengths, they have private data centers, which is super nice. Most of the time nowadays, they have data centers that are shared. And look, it's a pretty much empty building, but if it's on the internet, it can get touched. And having their own stuff is nice. They're 25 years deep, which is always really, really cool. And they're a unified platform, so this reduces complexity. And it's nice to have something all in one umbrella. As companies get bigger and bigger, from what we've seen in the technology world, as they buy them, they don't always make sure everything works. And then they have AI-powered sentiment analysis and behavior detection, which is always going to be a good thing. Covers SEC, FINRA. Down there, you don't see specifically, and I couldn't find this, that they meet SEC 17A-4, which is a bit of a concern. They have premium pricing, so from $500 to $1,000 base, plus $18, and that's their onboarding, plus about $18 per user. And then we have the Proofpoint and Theta Lake, kind of the two, I don't want to say stragglers, but they're still great, right? You have Proofpoint, which is the highest Gartner rated, 4.8 out of 5. And the reason they're stragglers is because they're not finance first. They're just great alternatives. Only platform to integrate threat intelligence with archiving, and then Theta Lake, backed by $71.5 million in venture capitalist funding from Battery Ventures, Zoom, Salesforce Ventures, Cisco, and Lightspeed. So they have quite a bit of backing across the board here. Some other notable platforms, Veritas Merge1, MirrorWeb, Bloomberg Vault, Jatheon, they all do something a little bit different. For example, Veritas Merge1 is best for M365-centric organizations, which thankfully is actually most financial firms. MirrorWeb, right, is another great one, which its big claim to fame is Sentinel AI claims 90% false positive reductions. So that way you know that if something's actually happening, hey, it's going to be taken care of. And it's best focused on firms on social media and off-channel enforcement. So if you're not really worried about that, it's nothing to even really think about. Fortunately and unfortunately, Bloomberg Vault, integrated archiving and surveillance case, 750 firms globally. Personally, I like Bloomberg stuff, but it's not great for most financial firms. Obviously, it's best for heavy Bloomberg terminal users, but it's still technically part of this area. Jatheon, 4th generation Amazon Web Service Cloud. Most cost-effective, $5 to $15 per user. Strong BUIOD is bring your own device, mobile archiving. But that's the catch. It's mobile archiving. It does have on-premises. It's great for cost-sensitive if you're looking for, hey, something that might cover it, and then Steal-I. Specialized in orders, trades. Best for trading firms. It's not going to be great for RIAs and broker-dealers, but technically, yes, it could do these things as well. So let's look at a head-to-head comparison. I've pulled together the top 4. So we have Gartner MQ 2025, which is the magic quadrants that they have in 2025 as of this. So we have Smarsh and Global Relay as Smarsh is the leader in vision. Global Relay is the leader in execution. Proofpoint is another leader. And Theta Lake is actually not on the magic quadrant, but I did want to put them up there. Peer ratings. So 4.6, 4.6, and Proofpoint with a 4.8, founded in 2001. 1999, and corporate, there was no real, they kind of changed the name on it. There was no real founding date, at least that I could find right there. And then what do they cover, right? This is the most important thing. Email, Teams, Slack, full. That's fantastic. Voice and mobile, this is where things start to get into the gray zone here. So Smarsh does voice and mobile with telemessage, a company that they bought a few years ago that they rolled into their stack. So then they can cover it. Global Relay, yes. And then also Proofpoint has limited with Theta Lake limited. Social media, yes, right. And then limited. And you could go through this. You could pause it and take a look at this as well. But these are really, really important things to understand. They're all priced slightly differently, and their cloud model is slightly different as well, cloud versus public cloud versus private cloud, it doesn't particularly matter. What matters is you need at least something. So the off-channel communication crisis that is currently happening out there is the enforcement numbers. 100 plus entities fined since 2018 for off-channel communication, meaning it came from somebody's personal cell phone. It came from a computer that was not designed specifically to have that communication. This matters tremendously as you are going through this, because if you are doing off-market or basically off-device communication, right? Either a approved phone number, an approved device, or something like that, this makes a massive difference. And if you're not communicating on a device that is going to be archiving and is also secure, you are opening up yourself for massive fines. And this is something you have to be very, very careful of when you go through this. This is why I'm bringing this up. So they've done it. It's 100 entities plus fined already, $3 billion in total fines, 26 firms in 1 month, which is crazy, and 60 plus firms charged by the SEC alone in 2024. So if you don't think it's going to happen to you, you got to be really, really careful. And some of the big names that are hit, and you might use these people as a custodian: Ameriprise, Edward Jones, LPL, Raymond James, all $50 million each. Now you might be thinking, Harrison, that's not me, that's on them. In our world of technology, especially in what we deal with here, it does not matter. If it happens to them, you are responsible, or you will be held somewhat responsible for it. And if you're not held responsible for it, guess where that money is coming from? You. I hate to be that person, but that is typically what ends up happening. So platforms that handle this best: Smarsh and telemessage, which is fantastic. Global Relay, comprehensive mobile archiving across all major carriers. MirrorWeb and Jatheon are probably some of the best out there, and look, I'll be a little biased, some of my favorites out there. So AI supervision. If you are not using AI on the regular, I don't believe you. That's just the case, right? So we have Smarsh Intelligent Agent, we have Theta Lake, Patented AI, Bloomberg's Vault, Hybrid AI, MirrorWeb, Sentinel. Everyone is in a race for AI. There is nobody that is currently not in the race for AI. If it does not have it yet, it will be coming. I'm hearing talks of LPL adopting Anthropic tools like Claude. I'm hearing other firms using ChatGPT as the back end. It really depends. They are all working aggressively to bring AI because they understand that financial firms are going to move towards AI, but it all has to be approved. It all has to be in compliance. And this is going to not slow things down, but it will. It's going to take a year or two before everyone has it. But you're probably using things like Jump that already have AI, and some of your CRM tools already have it as well. It's important. They are all working on it. Getting this approved is not something that's going to happen quickly, unfortunately, but it is important that you understand this. So the 2025 mandate: archiving AI-generated content. I cannot believe I had to make this slide, but it is important. FINRA regulatory notice 2507 of April 2025 changed the compliance game. Outputs from ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, Claude, and other AI productivity tools must now be archived. That is a massive change. If you are using these tools in order to grow, work on your business, they have to be archived. So Theta Lake actually has the best positioning on this. Smarsh rapidly catching up, and other ones are also playing catch up as well. But this is really important because these tools have to be in compliance. And if you're using these tools, right, and you're using AI, these tools can help you maintain compliance. That is the big difference when it comes to this type of stuff. So it's just something to be aware of. So pricing and total cost of ownership. I do want to cover this, and I will say some of this is not, this is the best I could find based on what people have posted online, and I spent too much time researching this. But this is the price for each platform. So Jatheon is $5 to $15 a user. Global Relay, $18 a month per user bundled. Smarsh is about $20 to $40 per user bundled. Proofpoint, I couldn't find any pricing on Proofpoint, Theta Lake, or Bloomberg Vault, but some of them have hidden fees, some of them don't have hidden fees. For the most part, they're all moving to a one price, includes everything, but per gigabyte, extraction fees, export limits, auto renewal clauses, right? They just want to keep your business forever, and they're going to keep providing, hopefully, a fantastic service. So how do you choose the right one for you? And this is a lot of information. And if you have to rewatch this video, I apologize. But let's talk about the decision framework, right? We have to talk about locking in risk. Fees, export limits, and auto renewals. They're all going to have that. Risk profiles, off-channel AI, security, and budget, right? This is another channel. We have primary channels, right? Email, Bloomberg, Teams, Zoom, mobile. If you're using Microsoft does offer quite a bit in their own suite as well. And then you have to know your firm. Are you dealing with, are you a smaller RIA? Are you a mid-market? Are you an enterprise? What rules and regulations do you have to follow in addition to this? Are you dealing with 17A-4? These are things that you need to either understand or work with a provider that can talk you through and walk you through exactly what you need to do. And if you're not exactly sure, you can actually head over to our website, and we have a free compliance readiness. You can actually self-assess. You can go through, you can select you're an RIA, and it'll tell you that you have to comply with the SEC, the FTC, and state securities. If you're an insurance agency, not that any insurance agencies, but they do share a lot of the same regulations. Broker-dealers have slightly different. Broker-dealers have the SEC, FINRA, FinCEN, BSA, OFAC, and then FTC safeguard rules as well. So there's you have hybrids, which add even more to these. So these are all things that you should keep in mind as you go through these. And just so you know, if you don't know already, if you're a small RA, if you're under 100 people, mid-market 100 to 500, and then enterprise 1,000 users and over. I guess you don't have a market if you're 500. I didn't realize that 500 to 1,000, but you're probably a fairly large one. But you could be an AI first firm. That's great. If you are, then Theta Lake might be the thing that you need to work on adopting. But the verdict is, these are my final rankings on all of them. The best overall for enterprise is Smarsh, currently at the time of making this video. It has the broadest platform. They have acquired telemessage and call cabinet with the strongest AI workflows currently, 70% of workflow reductions, which is always nice. Best for data control is Global Relay. Best security and compliance is Proofpoint. Best budget option is going to be Jatheon. And then best AI native first is going to be Theta Lake. And you can go through this and figure out which ones that you want. Personally, if I'm going to recommend it to a customer, I'm going to really go with Smarsh, Global Relay. And depending on the type of firm you are, potentially Proofpoint. But these are really the three leaders in the space currently, and I hope that it changes. I love competition. The more that these companies compete, the better service, the better products that we get to use as people in technology. You use technology, you're watching on technology, but you're using technology every day when you're meeting with your customers, with the CRM, when you're planning things out for their finances, and even dealing with your custodians. It's all technology. This is really, really important. So these are some of my favorite picks. But before you decide, fines are not slowing down. I have to say it. There's no slowdown in sight. They're going to consistently be more and more aggressive. And the worst is, if you get fined once, you are now under the microscope, and they are going to watch you like a hawk. I see it all the time. It is brutal. And once they see it, yes, you're gonna have to pay a ton of money. It's emails, it's just not fun stuff. It's lawyer fees. The list goes on and on. That's just fines, keep in mind. That's not including all of the cleanup that had to go on before that. But on top of all of that, once they see it, they are going to make sure that they come back over and over and over again. AI content archiving is now mandatory. This was not a thing last year at some point, but unfortunately 2025, mid 2025 and after, you have to archive your AI chats. I never would have thought those words would have came out of my mouth last year. Negotiate before you sign. You can sometimes get better deals. If you negotiate at the closing table with these tools, or you work with a provider that has, like us, that has these agreements in place, you might be able to get better pricing. And this is really important. And then match platform to your world. Some of you guys watching this might be an RIA. Some of you might be a broker dealer. Some of you guys might be in some other vertical of finance, whatever it might be. These are the important things. You just have to match what works for you. If you're a trader, obviously Bloomberg is going to be the best thing for you, depending on what you're actually using. But I hope this video helps you. I hope you guys got some value in this. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and I have a ton more content coming out like this. I've been putting together a video as often as I possibly can to keep you guys updated on the future of compliance, what's going to be going on, and also to help keep your financial firm secure and running the way that you want it. Nobody wants to think about fines. It's brutal. Have a fantastic rest of your day, evening, whenever you're watching this, and take care. I'll see you on the next one.